Well, would you look at that? We made it. First 5 pieces of the regular season, and I, for one, have been looking forward to saying that. So without further ado, let's jump into it. First up, for me, bully ball. I want to see the Chargers pound the rock, man. I want them to beat the Raiders into submission. And I know it's probably not a popular opinion because mostly everyone else wants to see the high flying antics of a one Justin Herbert, and that's dope. Let Jay Herbo sling the ball around. Perfectly fine with that. I just want to see this running game be a viable option. Show me something different from last year. With that being said, there's a cat that we probably won't see a whole lot of, which is discouraging to me. I hate it. But that injury against Dallas when they made him a crash test dummy behind a line that he shouldn't have been running behind, kind of set him up for a little bit of failure there. But Isaiah Spiller is probably going to be a healthy scratch if I had to bet on it this week. And a lot of that has to do with not just that injury, but the fact that they've been cramming Joshua Kelly down our throat all off season. Pause. And he got his body together, looks the part. I see a lot of the same running back I've always seen. He did have a few explosive plays, so that was definitely encouraging. But I think we know what he is. And ultimately, as the season wears on, I would not be surprised to see the young kid, the young buck, the horse in the stable, Isaiah Spiller, still snaps from him. But again, for the time being, it is what it is. You got Sony Michel mixed in there, so you're more than likely going to get like a 2A, 2B situation between he and Kelly this week. Let's see how it pans out. Should be fun, though. Number 2, not today, Tay. Look, let's be honest. J.C. Jackson's probably not going to play in this game. I know. Seems like Brandon Staley's doing this whole game with the media. I'd be shocked if JC's rolled out there, especially on a short week coming up against the Chiefs. Just give him a little bit more time. If the dude's running, this would be the first week that's happened. So it seems like it would be a bit of a rush job to put him out there now. And personally, I don't think it's necessary for us to beat the Raiders. I mean, at least it shouldn't be. Do what you have to do about Adams. If you got to bracket him, cool. Probably can't run as much man-to-man defense as what you wanted to when JC was in the picture. But there are ways to at least kind of neutralize him a bit. Somewhat contain him. You're not going to totally shut him down. It's Devontae Adams, arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. So let's just see how that works out. But whatever you do, just don't let him go off to the tune of like 8 to 10 catches for like 130 plus yards. Like, that's not what we want to see week 1. Please don't. And not ready to subject myself to nightmares this early on. So let's just get the job done. Shouldn't be that hard, I don't think. On to the 3 ski. Let's make 5 famous. Joshua Palmer should have a day. One of the reasons why is because the Raiders secondary isn't all that great. And I would imagine that Palmer's going to work some inside and out. So he's going to get some favorable matchups. He should be able to definitely go to work against that secondary. Probably might see Nate Hobbs on him a little bit. Hobbs is probably going to bounce around because, I mean, between he and Rock Yassin, seems like Hobbs has been getting like all the talk. So whoever's really lighting him up, Hobbs probably gets a fair shake at. Either way it goes, I see Palmer having a big day. And I'm not saying that they should force him the ball, but the league should be put on notice that this is a dude who's going to be a player. And now you can't just be keying in on Keenan or Mike Williams. You got to account for 5. And that is something I'm really looking forward to. Y'all know how I feel about the wide receiver position. It's near and dear to my heart. And I've been a big Josh Palmer fan since the draft. I'm not making that up. You can check the files when no one really cared. I did. Hey, Josh, if you're out there and you hear this, yeah, I've always cared. For number 4, no new nobodies. What I mean by that is, let's not have someone who's a relative unknown make a name for himself in this game. You know, that's kind of a thing. Typically does happen in week 1 also, right? I don't want to see like some former 4th string linebacker who found his way on the team in the last few weeks, barely escaped cuts, or Nobody knows his name wide receiver go off for a bunch of catches and over 100 yards, a couple TDs. None of that this week, man. I know it's week 1. You don't exactly know what to expect, especially since this is a new Raiders team with new coaching staff. But if McDaniels is just bringing his offense, being the offensive coordinator that he was in New England, over to the Raiders, then you kind of have an idea of what's coming at you. So let's just not make anyone who no one knows a name, because that's always embarrassing, and it's kind of been a Chargers thing. Not this time around. Let's not have that. Okay, cool, capiche? Since it's week 1, I'm feeling generous. I give you a 2 for 1 on the 5. First up, Carr Trouble. I need to see it all day long. Get Derek Carr out of quick game, because you know that's exactly what they want to do. Once they figure out that they can establish the run, hopefully, they're going to start doing slants, quick outs, anything that's like a 3-step drop where Bosa and Mac can't really get upfield in time enough to get to him. They're going to do their best to work that. Chargers are definitely going to have to like rally to the ball and tackle if that's the case, because you don't want to see Devontae Adams after the catch. That's not a pretty sight, but it's going to happen here and there. What you want to do is get them behind the sticks on down the distance and force them into more 5 to 7 step drop stuff so that Mac and Bosa can eat. I literally want, by the time the end of the second quarter comes, for Derek Carr to be seeing ghosts. I mean, the ball's coming out early. He's sailing some of them. He's looking to get out of the pocket right away. He's stepping up into Sebastian Joseph Day or Austin Johnson, dare I say, Jerry Tillery pressure. That's what I'm looking for. Definitely need to have it. I want this game to be, if we're being realistic, it's a division game, and I know it's only game 1. I still want it to be fairly in hand come halftime. I know that might be asking for a lot, but nothing will make me happier than to see Derek Carr cowering in the first half of this game. And on the second part of this 5, the bonus, Trey's baptism by fire. We all know it's coming. Max Crosby gonna be lined up opposite good old Trey, and how is Trey gonna perform? I just don't want to see him get worked over for an entire game. Do I expect him to keep homie just locked down on the right side for the entirety of the game? No, I don't. But I don't want to see him getting like just whipped, and Herbert constantly having to either step up or roll out to his left, causing all kind of other issues, throwing off timing, screwing up the passing game. If anything, run the ball to the right for a few, like at least a few drives where you're putting an emphasis on running it that way, so Trey can get into Max Crosby's face and plant him as much as humanly possible, because that's where Trey actually shines. He's a better run blocker than he is a pass blocker at this point in his career. So let him gain some confidence by smacking Crosby around in the run game, hopefully. Get behind Zion a bit, and as the game wears on, maybe you've broken down Crosby a bit with some chips and running at him, and then Trey gets out having looked at least decent, and we feel a little bit better about things moving forward. But what we cannot have is a situation where Trey's getting worked, so they pull him out and put Storm in, and he attempts to exercise his demons against Crosby, because I don't see that going well. But besides that, let's just go ahead and hope for the best. Trey, we're all rooting for you, man. Here's your chance to shine. It's finally your time to do your thing. Make good on it. Make the most of your opportunity and hold this right tackle spot down, because we're going to be looking at you all year long. That's going to be my time for today, good people. I do appreciate you for joining me here, per usual. Folks, enjoy this one on Sundays. Week 1, it's time to go. Regular season is in full swing, kicked off. If you're part of the Discord, you already know what the deal is. We're going to have that thing rocking during the game on Sunday. If you're not, what's wrong with you? You should be. But, you can still catch me on Twitter, talking my stuff there too. Just not as much as in the Discord. But again, y'all know what it is. No matter what, win or lose, I'll be back and I will have 5 on that thing. Hopefully, when we reconvene, we'll be celebrating the Chargers W, 1-0 on our way to KC, which I will be in attendance for. So again, till then, y'all take it easy, and I'll catch y'all later. Gone.